Fox News sent a reporter in to cover the Ferguson protests. Correspondent Steve Harrigan was reporting on the ground for Shepard Smith's show, and he said some things that didn't go quite well with the protesters. I got a clip.
The dignified protesters went home at dusk. This is just child's play right now.
Say that shit. No, say that shit.
I'm on TV right now.
I don't give a damn.
Uh-oh.
Y'all on TV? I don't care about that shit. At us. Motherfuckers tell us the shots. Who heard shots? Them shooting at us.
We're out here.
It don't matter. We out here.
We're out here with tear gas.
Okay, we go through this shit every day, though.
I don't want to argue with
you. You told me it's just child's play. Who is the child's play towards? Us and him. Right. Fuck off somewhere.
Well, you know, our viewers did not hear all of that, Steve, because mercifully we're on a 5-second delay. But I'm going to give Steve and his crew a minute to calm that down.
Uh-oh. Oh, that was great. The guy kind of looked like the deer in the headlights, you know what I mean? But as far as the coverage goes, this is sort of how Fox covers the protests by calling them child's play. Now, in the extended clip, he had a talk with that gentleman, and the gentleman did say, you know, that, I mean, this is what we deal with. Some of the, you know, we do our best to keep the protests as peaceful as we can, and, you know, we're going to be out here basically until people understand that exactly what's going on in Ferguson and why they're out there protesting. So, but nonetheless, I don't think it occurred to them at Fox News that these people actually have a legitimate grievance, and also saying, you know, oh, the dignified protesters went home. And that's pretty much a slap in the face. And that's the sense that I get from it. What do you guys think?
Man, so I love the fact that, like, the deer in headlights look, it comes from like kind of to my point earlier about the whole Bergdahl thing, like how little thought Fox gives to the consequence of what they report. Like, to them, they're so far divorced from actually, you know, spreading information and reporting the news that it is all about pushing an agenda, that you almost get the impression they literally forget, like, that these are human beings that they're talking about. And so that guy, like, he says something idiotic that no one with half a brain would ever say within earshot of these protesters, and it's totally baffled whenever one of them challenges him on it. And to be completely honest, I don't think that's the best way to go about challenging someone. It's certainly not the most effective way. But you know, like I say, this is to, you know, what he was, I think, trying to articulate there. They're out there because you know, someone in their community got shot. They've been tear gassed. They've had weapons pointed at them. You know, there was you know, I'm quoting here, what was officer, go fuck yourself. We've all seen that clip by now. Like, these people this is not child's play. Like having a loaded weapon pointed at you because you're exercising your First Amendment right is not child's play. And I don't know that guy's personal story. You know, I don't know if he's a good guy or not. You know, but that doesn't matter. What the guy said is just what the reporter said is inexcusable, man. To sit there and say, oh, all the respectable protesters have gone, and again, like, as he's saying that, his cameraman's panning across the crowd, and there's people standing there being completely respectful and not doing anything. You know, like, he's like, oh, these people are all just here, you know, to make this into a media event or whatever. And the great irony there is he's describing exactly what he's doing, not what the protesters are doing. It's another classic example of conservative projection. And then just to close it, man, I really have solidarity with this guy, and especially with the we didn't show it in this clip, but if you watch the whole clip, you can find it online. The guy who the interviews after that, like, now like, the rest of the world knows what it feels like to be an Arkansan or from Mississippi, because this just smacks so much of me of, like, anytime a tornado comes through the South and they go and find, like, the most inarticulate, like stereotypical hillbilly they can find. Like, I feel like that's what happened here. Like, they went and found the person who fit the stereotype as much as they possibly could, and to, like, let's get this guy on camera. Like, I that's happened to us down here enough to where I feel like I can recognize it when it happens to someone else.
I think it's really a case of, it's a Fox News bubble, and whether that bubble takes the form of, him, kind of the reporter being white, or whether he's rich, or he's never had any altercation with the cop, it's an amalgamation of all those bubbles put into one. And I don't want to say that it's kind of his choice of language comes from willful ignorance, and he was trying to put it across. I think it's just that's how he perceives it. Kind of the use of child's play to him, kind of that entire situation. It is a bit of a game. It's almost like a video game for him, no doubt. And it just seems to be the case that even if it had been a kind of a black Fox News reporter, and I know those are kind of hard to come by these days, but I just think, they probably wouldn't have even chosen to use that language itself. I don't think, in this case, I honestly don't think the reporter kind of meant it in any malicious way. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is kind of an awful, horrid thing to say, and it does come off as being a bit of a malicious thing to say, but I don't think he actually meant it that way. I just think that he thinks that's perfectly normal language to describe what was a pretty much very peaceful scene. It's just the entire bubble that they live in, and they can't put themselves in other people's shoes. That's the whole problem that they have at Fox News. They have no concept of empathy.
Yeah, see, you bring up a really good point, Stephen. It's about that Fox News bubble. It's about that narrative of basically saying, what are you complaining about? What are you out here protesting for? What are you complaining about? Everything's fine. You're just complaining to complain because you have to be the victim. That's sort of how Fox News views this protest. Oh, you guys are just playing the victim. Brown was a thug. He would deserve what he got, and you guys are just out here just making trouble, just to make trouble. That's the Fox News narrative that they're trying to push.
I think it's also possible he was baiting for this exact reason. When you look at the little thumbnail image there of the crowd, in a lot of other contexts, my first assumption would probably be kind of thug-like, not because they're black, but I kind of associate most people who wear undershirts out in public with that kind of attitude, regardless of skin color. Doesn't matter to me. But I'm guarantee you that a lot of the audience would look at that and be like, oh, look, they're not even properly dressed. Oh, they're clearly thugs and stuff. And he's saying this kind of to, like, debate them into acting how he thinks they would. Or maybe in his eyes, just because of the way they're dressed and the way they look, he thinks they are thugs. And he's automatically going to associate them with causing trouble. And so in his mind, he's totally justified in thinking, oh, it's all the peaceful protesters are gone. It's child's play out here. It's a mess and stuff. I don't know. He might actually, I think he definitely believes that and going on to the Fox bubble thing. Or he said that to actually incite something. I'm more inclined to think the former than the latter. I mean, he is a guy for Shep Smith's show, so we're hoping by proxy he's more reasonable than some of the other Fox people.
Well, even Shep Smith was saying, this is just nothing but a media event. It's a media spectacle. And so I'm a little disappointed at Shep Smith at that, in his reporting about this. But once again, he's a bit of a mixed bag. Although generally most of the time I like him. But anyway, one thing that I found really funny, and this is just like not really even a serious point. It's more like a Sean point. But I kind of enjoyed the whole rawness of the encounter. Like, the guy, the reporter says something obviously ridiculous, right? That's gonna rile up these people, and somebody gets riled up and says, "Say that shit. Say that shit." Well, I'm on live TV. I don't give a damn if you're on live TV. I like that. I don't know why, but I like that honestly. I don't give a damn. We're going through some serious stuff over here. I think he reacted perfectly, because he didn't incite violence, right? But he said, "Look, we're going through something serious here, and you're mocking our entire movement out here, and we don't appreciate that."
Well, and that's like for all the issue I may take with the way he chose to make his point with the reporter, it has to, we can't go without saying, like, he also never raised a hand to the reporter. Like, sure, he yelled at him, and may not have come off as the most articulate or affable fellow, but he also didn't resort to violence at all. And like, if that's not what makes you a thug, if being thuggish or whatever you want to call it, like, it's violence, right? Like, that's what qualifies you as that. And like, this guy is someone he's genuinely upset because there's a lot going on in his community, and somebody tried to make light of it for for their own political or ratings, whatever personal gain that they have, whatever skin Fox News has in this game. And he stood up to it with speech, and that's to be admired.